folks. It's your boy Steve here.
Hey, Matt.
And tonight we are back at the shop again. And what we are doing tonight is trying to get old Ursula here to launch. So lots of conversation about this has been taking place lately. As you guys probably know, if you saw us at IFO, the car is not fast out of the hole. Not at all. We're 60 foot in like 2.5 seconds. Needs work, okay? We explored a lot of different options here, and what we landed on is installation of a dump valve into the transmission. So what a dump valve does is basically diverts fluid away from the torque converter.
Got it.
Diverts fluid away from the torque converter, basically running the torque converter on less fluid, which then loosens it up and lets the engine rev a little bit higher before you have coupling of the engine and the transmission. So basically faking having a higher stall converter. But the benefit is once you set off, you can shut off the solenoid and refill the torque converter, and then you get your tightness back. So you're not sacrificing a whole bunch on the top end. So there is some benefits to using this type of system. I'm not sure how much stall we're gonna get out of this, okay? But it's a pretty cheap kit. We spent like 180 bucks on it. I actually got it from a Mustang website, but hopefully it works out. So right now, Matt is pulling off this little cover.
It's off.
Little cover is removed right there, and the reason he's doing that is because that is going to be where we're dumping pressure back in. This is a completely external kit that is going to be outside the transmission. It taps into one of the cooler hoses and basically just feeds just releases the pressure, dumps it back into the transmission, and so we can achieve a higher stall. Let me show you the kit we're working with. So MMR Modular Motorsports Racing is who supplied the kit, and it's very simple, okay? It came with this solenoid. It came with a couple of these little fittings. Some of them are AN fittings, some of them are just NPT. And then it came with this smart little billet plate that's gonna cover up the hole that Matt has just exposed. It did not come with a gasket. Luckily, I'm a hoarder and I had one left over from my last rebuild kit that I bought. It also comes with this hose that's got a little T on one end and just an elbow on the other. And basically installation is pretty simple. The solenoid mounts up to this plate. We got a hose that hooks up to there. It goes up here and tees into one of the outlet of the transmission cooler, which evidently is the circuit that delivers pressure to the torque converter. So we did have to go to O'Reilly's and get this little 90 here because to set it up the way that it's shown in the picture, I'll drop that picture in this video as well so you can see how it's actually shown to be installed. But what that does is cause the solenoid to stick up way further than we have room for in our little tunnel. So we were able to pick up this little 90-degree MPT, and that lowers the solenoid totally out of the way. And the plan is to get the Mega Squirt controlling this solenoid. We're gonna have to set up some parameters that will get it to where it's only on when we want it. And
absolutely.
So that's what we're working on tonight. And seems like it's gonna be pretty easy, but we'll see how it works out. We're gonna go ahead and just use the wiring that's already supplied to our trans brake. And we're going to control it with the output on the Mega Squirt that's controlling the VVT, because as you guys may know, we are not currently using the VVT solenoid. Right. So that way the Mega Squirt will take it all out of our hands. All we got to do is stand on the foot brake and hold the two-step button, and everything else should be taken care of for us.
Does it not look like that's been like cut away?
Oh no, that's just the casting, dude. That's normal.
It's just terrible casting.
It's kind of wet in there. Matt was worried that he's not even seeing fluid in there. I thought maybe I don't know. I mean, I wonder, just when it's all dumping in there, I wonder how fast it's going to flow back into the pan. It's probably open going down to the pan.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah.
Okay. I wonder if we need to increase our capacity for this purpose. Yeah, I've wondered if we need to...
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I know.
wondered if we need to increase our capacity anyway.
We've been running off that just aftermarket eBay transmission dipstick. So
no, it was Jegs. It was
okay. Well,
Jegs.
That
but
was
it was
Jegs.
universal, and they may not know that we have the deep pan. You
Yeah.
know, we may need to run more fluid in this thing than we do. That might explain why our reverse kind of cuts in and out too.
Yeah, I mean, it got better when we added fluid last time. So.
It did, but I didn't want to keep adding fluid and end up dumping it all over the driveway. But anyway, we'll try some things out and see what works.
I think that's gonna work just fine.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be like almost flush with the pan. Well, don't turn it too much because we're gonna have a 90.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. That'll work.
Oh, that looks just fine right there, brother. Let's see if we can get that hose routed up there and see how that goes. As long as it fits awesome, then I think we're freaking done with the plumbing. Looks alright.
Where's the hose?
Right
here on the ground.
Spotted it. Spotted. I think you're gonna want to try to come.
Yeah, I know.
And I think this solenoid might need a little rotating. Crap. I have to move the trans brake. I was having a hard time getting that thing started.
Alrighty, so we got everything with the solenoid and the lines hooked up. Right now we're just kind of working on wiring the actual solenoid into the trans brake circuit, I believe is what we decided on.
Yeah, we're stealing power from, basically we had the trans brake running off the cigar lighter, so it's already got a fused power source. And so we just moved that from the trans brake to our dump valve solenoid. And now we're just running a ground, if you will, or a control circuit from the dump valve solenoid to the Mega Squirt. So the Mega Squirt will be able to control it on command.
So the Mega Squirt will be commanding it, but the actual trans brake switch is going to be what's activating it, right?
No.
No?
No, I'm bypassing the switch right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
So it will have power at all times, and then the
Sweet.
Mega Squirt, whenever the parameters are met, the Mega Squirt will ground the solenoid.
Excellent. Alrighty, so everything is hooked up. We're just getting everything set up on the Tuner Studios just to make sure everything works correctly. And hopefully we're about to get up on two-step with the dump valve on foot brake.
So I'm turning on a LED, which is what we're using to control ground of the solenoid. I have it set to over 96% throttle position. It should energize the solenoid, and under 4,000 RPMs. So I'm gonna push the pedal to the floor and see if it makes a noise.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
Yep, I can hear it loud and clear, buddy.
Okay, cool. Well, damn, we'll start it up and see if it has any effect. Kind of scared. Should we add some fluid to it?
Let me make sure it's not leaking first.
Much of an effect.
Yeah.
Just let it warm up a little bit. Still no leaks?
No leaks.
Dude, is this gonna not do shit for us, bro? How upsetting would that be?
Can we return it?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Jeez.
No effect at all, dude. What? How can it do nothing? That'd be a whole evening and 180 bucks down the crapper.
So what happened?
Well, we heard the solenoid click a couple of times. We recorded that.
We knew it was working at first.
The Mega Squirt was working.
Yeah.
It was doing what it's supposed to, but we didn't get any effect from the modifications. So then we shut the engine off, and it wasn't clicking anymore.
Show them what happens when you put power to it.
So we checked for power, and it had power. And when I disconnected it, even though the Mega Squirt is not commanding it on,
Listen.
it was like sparking.
Spark.
But this is
no click from the solenoid.
so right now we're shooting 12 volts directly to the solenoid, and the solenoid it's not doing anything.
The only noise you're hearing is from those ends clicking together on the terminals.
So the solenoid's taking a shit, and I can't say for sure, but we have ground on that circuit to the Mega Squirt at all times now. And so I don't know if
That's not good.
if we fried the driver for that output. We might have just lost that output.
Which means that's what, our second to last output?
It's really the last one.
The last one.
I mean, the only other output we have is well, actually, that may be the last one, because we have a couple more inputs to use: the flex fuel and flex fuel might be the last input we have.
Yeah, we need nitrous too. I mean, unless we can get this,
might have an
unless we
input
can get
from-
this working.
I'm not sure if we have another input or not that we could use for nitrous, but
Well, regardless, for tonight, we are effed. Your boys are effed.
yeah, we plumbed up all this shit, and it was for nothing at this point. So I don't know what to do. Hopefully the Mega Squirt's savable. I mean, we have a 15 amp fuse for the cigar lighter, which is it's definitely way more than the Mega Squirt can handle on that driver. But the fuse is good. I mean, it's not like a really loud like arc, like an intense arc. You know, it's just a little spark. It doesn't seem like it's got a ton of amperage, but.
I mean, it looks like best case scenario right now, we can get that solenoid hopefully exchanged, and maybe we hook it up and we get a good solenoid in there and everything's fine. But
Dude, this is just typical of getting parts from a Mustang website.
yeah, let's just make that known.
It's definitely a Mustang problem somehow.
It's not an IS300, but it's definitely a Mustang problem.
Oh, dude, it's so deflating. We worked on it all night.
Yeah, super defeating. Not feeling great right now. It would be a lot easier if this was our day job, where we could go 40 hours a week and just come right back to it tomorrow, you know, but fact is it's not. So we're going to have to get a game plan together this week, try to get that solenoid swapped out, hopefully, if we can. And
I think maybe we just take it off just because it's easy, I think. Just take this fitting off and just twist this down and see if something's in it and I got it stuck or something. I'm not sure.
Worth a shot, for sure.
But that's all we can do for right now. All right, so spent the night fooling around with this dump valve.
And it didn't do shit.
And train is once again pulling up to the struggle station. We got that damn thing installed. It didn't change a single thing. We thought maybe the solenoid was stuck because we couldn't hear it actuating anymore. Our trans brake solenoid, that thing freaking pops every time you turn it on. So pulled the solenoid off and took it apart and made sure everything was clean and all the moving parts were working, and it seems to be working. I mean, it doesn't open up very much.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we feel, but I mean, I don't know how much it needs to open to make a difference.
I mean, at the current state, we're not being able to tell any noticeable difference, basically, when the valve is on or off.
Yeah,
And
it's not changing anything whatsoever.
And we know it's clicking. I mean, we know it's working. We cleaned it out. We can hear it click, you know, with the car not started up. Obviously, that shouldn't change anything from the time of just ignition power and actually running the motor. But, man, it's not doing anything for us at all.
We're not really sure what we're going to do from here. I'm going to shoot an email to Mustang, what is it, Modular Motors, Mod Motors Racing or whatever. But the guys I got the kit from, I'm going to send them a message and just kind of, I guess, feel them out, let them know I'm not sure if this solenoid's sufficient for this kit, basically, in our application. Like blowing through the solenoid, I feel a lot of resistance, and it just seems like something that's dumping pressure.
Yeah.
It should flow pretty freely.
I mean, worst case scenario, we can at least get them, hopefully, to send us another one so we know that it's a good working valve, at least for what they send us. And if it's still not doing anything, we know that we're just kind of at a dead end, you know?
Yeah, we're really not sure where to go from here. I mean, we've had drama that we thought was torque converter related, and then we're like, okay, well, maybe that's just kind of how these cars act. And then try this and get zero benefit.
Results, yeah.
And it's kind of got me thinking, like, does this come back to the torque converter again? Like, are we still dealing with a torque converter? Do we need to have like 2JZ specialists build us a torque converter?
But the problem is there's no way for us to really tell that for sure. So, you know, before we go spend $800 to $1,000 on a torque converter, I'd really like to figure out if we can get some sort of definitive answer as to what's going on. You know, I mean, this thing has no low end. Nothing.
It's just it's a slug. Tell me what you guys think. If you know anything about how these are set up.
If you guys have anything to contribute, please holler at us.
So if you're watching us suffer here and you know what's wrong, then let us know. Otherwise, you know, we're gonna keep pressing on. We're gonna get it tuned up better. I'm gonna try to get a better flowing solenoid for the dump valve, and I'm gonna shoot out some messages to some people I know people I don't know, but people I know of in the 2JZ building community.
I mean, I will say that a lot of guys have said that you pretty much have to have nitrous or some sort of power adder at the line, and we're just really trying to avoid that as much as possible, just because like major pain in the ass and inconsistency basically of nitrous, and
it's not ideal, but
I mean, if that's what we have to do, then that's what we're going to do eventually. But if we can find another working solution that's going to be more consistent, we're not having to fill up a bottle every week to go race, you know, that's definitely the route
we don't want
like
to just
go,
cover up an issue. If we have something wrong that needs to be addressed, then just throwing nitrous at it's not a good plan for sure. But anyway, I was going to kind of look into that some more. check us out next week and see what kind of progress we've made and what we're going to be trying next week. I'm not really sure at this point.
We'll see.
I'd still like to take it to the track. You know, we got the tune a lot better. Everything's running pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, we can go to the track and run some mid to low 9-second eighth miles.
The thing
which
for me is
pretty-
that, I mean, if we're going to go spend a whole week at the track, I mean, that's a week that we could be trying stuff at least,
Right.
you know, if we have a plan together. But I mean, if there's no game plan, there's nothing else to do besides go race, you know. So.
We'll see if we come up with any bright ideas,
Yeah.
and if the money's there, then we'll make some moves. But anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.